We can revise it.
Okay. So I'm recording the session. I'll meet all. Okay. Fine. Let's start. I think we'll just continue from this particular thing where we had done a halfway through. So we are saying like, how do we select a cell? We have different ways to select a cell. That was one was like using the cells, and the other one was using the range. And we also had done with the help of what do you call it as offset. Okay. So we saw one thing was cells dot select was selecting a particular cell cells of so what this will do, this will select the entire worksheet. Okay, this will select a particular cell, so moving 2 rows ahead, 2 columns ahead. This is the row and this is the column, and you want to select a contiguous range of cells, means a range of cells. Okay, so in that case we use this particular thing. So we just say like, start of the range to the end of the range, and okay, select is the property of this particular range class. Then we solve this particular things. How do we select so multiple ranges, or how do we give a start and end with the help of this particular what you say cells and the range together. I think we had done till here, is it?
Yep.
Okay. So
Continue,
now
sir.
we will continue with this particular thing. So we'll see how do you select a non-contiguous cells. Okay. Um, Non-contiguous cell is see when I talk about a contiguous cell. So contiguous cell is you want to select all the data in a single range. Okay, but when I talk about a non-contiguous cell, is you want to select this particular data alternatively. So some specific set of cells. Okay, so in this, what we have done here is we have told I want to select A2, A4, and B5. So let us do this. Let me open an Excel. So it's open. So now let us write this particular thing parallelly. Developer tab. So get me the Visual Basic. I'm just aligning this side by side, so it becomes easy for me. Then, so now you want to select this particular contiguous, so non-contiguous, like So I want to select alternatively. So in that case, what we do, we just select a range. Okay, so I want to select A2, then I want to select A4, and then I want to select B5. Okay, so what I do, I just say range of A1, comma, I say A4, comma, sorry, A4, comma, I just say something like B6. Okay, dot, what is that you want to do? Say select. Now, if I try to run this particular code, let us see what happens. So let me run this, and I run this. So you can see what is happening. It is selecting 3 cells here. So that is A2, A4, and B6. Yeah, got it. Okay, so that means you want to select particular this one, or you want to change the color or something. I'll just do that. Dot say
Interior.
is equal to say VB fill. Okay. Now you can see those particular cells. It is just going to set. So I'm selecting the cells alternatively. Okay, not in a specific. That is, a contiguous is a single range. Okay, so when it is, so that means by use a contiguous, we write it something like this. So when I write like this one, so what happens? The range of cells, okay, starting from this to this, it happens. So that means this says it's a, you want to select the data in a range, you want to select the data alternatively, so we use a comma separator. It's same like in Excel also, no? So I want to find a sum of a range of data, so what we do, we say is equal to sum, we specify the start of the range to the end of the range. Fine. So now the same way, like I want to find a sum of the data with is alternatively, we use the comma. Fine. Okay.
Yeah. Sadiq sir, if I want
Yeah.
to do the same in the sheet too, yesterday you taught, but could you please explain it again?
Okay. Fine. See, like, you know, what is happening here is, I want to select only a particular, see, I want to select this particular range of data, but not in sheet one. I want to select in a different sheet. Might be something like, you know, in this sheet, say sales. Okay. So in that case, my question was, so if I have to do that, so what I will do is, so first I'll select this sheet. I just say sheets, okay, of name of the sheet. I just open the bracket. What is the sheet you want to select? I want to select this sheet called as sales. Fine. I just say dot select. Okay. The first thing is, okay, irrespective wherever you are, okay, highlight this particular sheet, which is named as sales. In that sheet, do the further actions. So now if I try to run this, you can see what happens. It gets a focus into this particular sheet sales. Under sales, this particular selection has happened. Got it. Okay, so if sometimes, you know, you want to pick the data from a different sheet, or if you want to pick the data from the multiple different sheets and you want to extract it, so you'll be extracting it in something like in this particular way. Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Chalo. So that is what it was. So yeah, so this was thing. Next is select a non-contiguous cells and a range. See, in the case of a non-contiguous, one cell was selected here, one cell was selected somewhere here, so another cell was something here, somewhere here. Okay, this particular cells we are selecting in a randomly. Now I say I want some cells to be selected from here, and I want one range of cells also. Okay, so I want this plus this particular range. Okay, you want to select. In that case, what is that we do? We can also use it like this. So that means in this case, we are telling, okay, we want to select this particular range of A2 as well as A4, and then B5 to B8. Okay, so this is how we be selecting. So I want to select, say, A2, and then I also want to select, say, A4, comma, say A4, comma. I just want to say select from, say, B6 to B10 or something. Okay, so now when you run this particular code, so you can just see what happens. Yeah. Let me undo this. Yeah. So when you look into this, this is A2, and then A4, and then a range of data, B6 to B10. So that means, so alternate plus the range together also we can do the selection. Okay. Then you want to select a named range. Okay. So what is the named range? What is the named range? We have seen this particular concept of naming. Okay. When we're doing this particular Excel, when you're writing the
Name
formula, when
column
you're
and name it.
defined, yeah, you can select a range of data, you can define your own name. So now what I do is that particular name of range, I want to select it, or I want to work on that particular range of data. Okay. So in that case, what is that we do? So now let us do one thing. I think I have defined a name known as cities over here. So what I've done here is I've selected this particular range of data and they have defined the names. I think you people know how to define the names. Fine.
Yeah.
So if you want to define the name, you just need to select the range of data. Just go to the name box, type the name. So I have just given the name. Now what I want to do is I want to highlight this particular things. Okay. So then case what I will do is, okay, irrespective wherever you are, I'll just say range of, what is the name, cities dot. You can see, so range of cities dot select. So this particular cities range has been selected. So irrespective wherever you are, so you just try to run this. So that means, okay, so in that case, if your range is in a particular sheet, so we need to go to that particular sheet and then we need to select it. Okay, so in that case, if it is, okay, if your, you know, that particular range is there in sheet 2, so we can just say sheets of sheet 2 dot select. So first it is going to select the sheet 2, and then within that sheet 2 it will select the cities. So that means if you are in any place, even if you're in different sheet, so I want to select that range. So what I'll do, I'll just run this code. So this code, what it is doing, first it is focusing on this particular sheet. It is focusing on this sheet, and then, okay, it is focusing on this particular range of data. Got it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so now we are just seeing how to be selected. See, it's like, you know, without selecting, you cannot do any task in Excel or Word or any this one in Microsoft applications. You know, even in Word, even you want to format it, first we need to select it. Even in Excel, if you want to do the sum of two numbers, we need to say is equal to, then we need to focus on that particular cell. So now here we are learning how do we select a cell, or it can be a single cell, it can be a range of cells, it can be even for the defined named series also. Okay, I think. So next is, okay, see, we have a different ways to do this. We can also use, alternatively, we can also say application.go to, if you have defined the name. If you have defined the name series, in that case, we can also do it in this way. Application.go to, and then we can just say where you want to go to. Okay. This case, what I will do, I'll just say application.go to. Okay, and then give the name of the range, cities. So now you can see what happens. I close this. Yes, it is doing. So we can just also say like this. We can use a range, or you can also go use this particular thing. But this go to you can use only if you have a defined series. That is, you can, if you have a name range. In that case, we can also use the go to. Fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next thing is what? Okay, you want to select the entire row. You want to select the entire row. How do we select it? Row is what? Your horizontal. Okay, row is what? Your horizontal. It might be a single row or it can be a multiple rows. But the data you want to select the complete rows. Okay, how do we select it? So in that case, we can use a range and we can specify which row you want to select. Suppose, like, you know, I want to select row 1. Okay, so I want to select a particular, say, row. In that case, what I'll do, I'll just say select range of, I'll just say 1 colon 1. So there was no colon, no? Yeah. what is happening here? The first row is being selected. Okay, so you want to select the first 5 rows. So you say starting from 1, go to 5. So that means this is going to select the first 5 rows. Or you want to start from a particular position, we can just say here when I say 3 to 5, it is going to be 3rd, 4th, and 5th row will be selected till the end. So it goes till the end at all the rows. Okay, so that means this row number 3 to 5 so will be selected. If I say 3 comma 5,
3 and 5.
will not happen. So it is like we need to use it something like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Might be like I can use yeah. So we can do it in like this. So you can want to select alternate row. So here in this case, first I'm telling to select the third, 4th, and 5th row, and then I do want the 6th and 7th row to be there. I want the 8th row to be selected. Okay. So in that case, so we are using this. Okay, so you want to select multiple. If it is a single range, we can use a single range. If it is multiple, you can. But when you're selecting the rows, so we need to ensure that we just give the start to the end, because this is going till the end of the row. The complete rows are being selected. Which row? So if I say 8 to 10, so this is like 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10 rows will be selected. So like this, you can have multiple this one. Okay. So you want to select the alternate rows or some specific rows ka data you want to fetch, and you want to work on those particular rows. So we can use this particular thing. The same way you want to select the columns. Okay. If you want to select the column, so what is that we do? I say I want to select the column B. So what I'll do, I'll just say B to B. So dot select. So when I say this, you can see the column B is selected. Or I want to select B, C, D. I say B to D. So in this case, what happens? These 3 columns will be selected till the end. Okay. Yeah. So this is how we select the entire rows, entire columns. So you can also use an alternative here. I say G something. Again, I just say sorry. G to G is something. Yeah. So B, C, D, and then G. So you want to select multiple columns, so we can use. So only B and D. So this is selecting only the column B and the column D. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is for selecting the entire rows, or you want to select the columns. Now you want to select a last cell of the column after contiguous data. So when I say contiguous, that means continuous data, and I want to select the last column of that particular data. Okay. So now let us take an example here. I just have some data over here. So I have some cities here, some cities names I have given, but I have given some gap here. So now I want to do some kind of analysis. I want to consider this as a separate table. I want to consider this as a separate table, but I want to go till the end of the table. So that means after the continuous, this one where it is stopping, I want to select this particular cell. Okay. I want to consider this as my table. Okay. So I want to focus on this particular last row, or like, you want to add a new city or new sales data. It has to go to the last row. Then it has to add that particular row. So in that case, so how do we get this particular position? Okay. So for that, so we are using this particular thing here, range of A1. That means I want to focus in A1. From there, I say end Excel down. So that means Excel down means your cursor will be moving down till the end, okay, of your contiguous data. So that means till it finds an empty row, it stops. As soon as it finds an empty row, it stops and it selects the cell which is before the empty row. Okay, so that means when you go here, so we have the contiguous data here, and there is an empty row following after that. I want to stop before that particular thing itself. Yeah. So in that case, we use this. So how do we do this? Is this the thing? So I'll just select, okay, on which this one you want to have it. I'll just say A1, and I just say I want to end with dot end. Okay, end, and then you call the enumerated value, how you want to move. So down, up, left, or this one. So I say I want to go till down. Okay, dot select. So now when you look into this particular thing, when I try to run this, keep it anywhere. So you can see here what happens is, so range of A1. So first your cursor from wherever you were, it will come here because A1, and then so it goes till where we have a continuous data. We have it till this particular Pune. After that there is a break. Since there is a break, this is my last value. It selects this. So that is on that basis, this is getting highlighted. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now you want to select a blank cell. Okay, I want to select a blank cell at the bottom of the column of a contiguous data. So that means what I want is, okay, the data what is there. So we have this particular thing. Now I want to, okay, so this particular function is selecting the last contiguous data, but I want to move one row below that. So because I want to add a new row. So when I want to add a row, I want to go this, and I don't want to write the new record in this place. I want this particular new records to be written after the last row. So that means I want to select in this place. So in that case, what I will do, I'll use a dot offset, and using the offset, I'll just say I want to one row down, but in the same column, dot select. So when I try to run this particular thing, so you can see what happens. I run this. So got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, what is happening is, okay, again, we are telling it to go to A1. From there, you just move, keep going down, select the last contiguous data. But from there, you move one row down in the same column and select them. Okay. This is like, programmatically when you want to add the new set of row. But when you're adding the new records, I want to go till the bottom of my actual data, and then I want to start writing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we use this particular thing. Next is select the entire range of contiguous cells in a column. So that means here, see, in previous case, what was happening, as soon as the contiguous column was broken, so when there was a continuation, when there was a break, it used to stop there. Now I want, see, after some empty rows, again there is some data. Okay, again there is some data. I want to go till the end. So select an entire range of contiguous cells in a column. So in that case, what I'm trying to do here is, so I say range of A1. So I say go to A1. In A1, I say A1 range of A1 dot end Excel down. So that means, so this will move till the very last, okay, of your selection. So if I write this, let me comment this. Okay. So when I run this, what is the name of the Mac? So, okay. Okay, selecting the entire range of the contiguous cells in a column, okay, in the contiguous data. So now, so this is moving till the end. So now, see, from there, I want to go till further. So here we are using something like rows dot count. See, this rows
No, it
dot
didn't move
count,
to the end, no?
yeah. So that is the reason, like, we are using this particular thing here called as rows dot count. So, when I talk about rows dot count, so what this will do is, it is like this in Excel. See, when I focus on this particular column, so generally we focus something like this. As soon as we focus on this column, so here I want to know how many rows are there. So when you focus on this, you can see row count says 9. So you can see here the row count, it generally says it is 9. We can see this particular row count function. This is actually function in Excel. This will give me the value as 9. So 9 in what basis? See, we have this one value here. Okay, and we have the 6 city names. That is totally we have the 6. Then we have the empty data. There is no data. So the count will count only the cell which contains the data. That means it will not count the empty cells, it will count only the non-empty cells. Again, there is some data, so this is counted. After that, everything is empty. So that means so it is 7 plus 2, there are 9 rows. Okay, so I want to move till this particular, the last this one. So in that case, this particular function will take you there. Okay, so if I use this one, yeah. So this is moving till the end. Okay, if there is an empty, so it will jump that particular empty. So it is trying to find out, where this particular data cells are there, and it is moving till this particular count. So that means it will keep counting till your data cells gets a count of 9. Okay, that is the total count, and it will stop at that particular stage. And it is also selecting this from there. You can see it is selecting till up. That means going till this particular last countable row. That is total count here for the cell is 9. So from the 9, it is going till from it is selecting here, and then it is going from year to year. So when you look into this, yeah. So it is like going here, and then from there it is selecting to the bottom. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now I want to select a current region. So that means a group of cells which is both in the matrix. Now I want to select this particular complete region. Okay. So in that case, so I'll just say select range of A1 dot current region. So that means what it is going to do is current region means, so now if I focus in A1, and when you press Control A, what it does, so that particular region, that means where it is not having an empty row and empty columns, if there is an empty column or an empty row, then it is going to split. Okay, so now this becomes a separate region. Or suppose if I say I have some kind of a sales data here, and okay, fine, I just have some data here thing. So now if I focus here and if I say Control A, what is happening? Only this range of is selected, this is not been selected. But imagine this empty row is been removed here, or if I just have some value over here, okay, some value. So when I press keep here and say Control A, what happens? The whole this one gets selected. So now I want to select the data range something like this. So in that case, what I'll do is I'll just use this particular range of A1. That means, okay, I'm getting my cursor in this place, and from there select the complete region, current region. That means the whole block of region, it is going to be selected. Fine. So
Yeah.
now if I try to run this, so this is going to select something like this. Okay, see now what happens is you have some data. Now on that particular data, you want to create a pivot table. So generally when you are creating a pivot table, what we do, we blindly just focus on that particular data and we hit on the pivot table. So that is, we go to the insert and pivot table. Behind the screen, what is happening is Excel is selecting that region, and for that region, it has been creating this particular data. Is it? So now
Correct.
when I'm doing it programmatically, so now if I'm doing it programmatically, in that case, if I have to move like this and do a selection, it is going to be a very tedious work, telling that where it is ending, where it is starting, and this data is not going to be a static data. So the data will be growing, the ranges will be growing. So in that case, I would have to move till that particular whole data or the range. So we'll be using this particular command, so to select that particular current region and then start working on that particular region of data. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how we do this particular selection. So we have 3 ways to do a selection: range, cells, and offset. Now again, when you're selecting, so we can select a specific cell or an alternative cell or a contiguous cell or even a non-contiguous. Okay, randomly I can select an alternative individual as well as the ranges, as well as you can select the entire column, entire rows. So now when you have the data, Okay, you want to select the data. What happens if there is a break? I want to stop before the break. Okay, so this is where what we do is, so where I can use this particular thing. So I mean to say, like, when you look into the first, this one, it was going till the contiguous data and it was stopping there. Okay, so it was stopping over there, and then using the offset I moved one row down. So now what happens is, see, like, you are getting some data from the external sources, and on that particular data I need to generate the report. Now in those particular external sources means they might be even sending the data in the CSV files, comma separated values files, or a different formats. Now we are pulling that into my Excel, and then I'm going to use my Excel features. So now when you have pulled the data, you would have got some kind of a junk data like this. So you have got some kind of empty rows or empty columns and all these things. So in that kind of a scenario, I need to remove this. If I have to remove, so what I need to do is I need to go, okay, where we have a contiguous data, there is a break. Now I need to say, oh, this rows has to be deleted. Select this, delete, and then make it. So again, we can write the VBA code for deleting that also. Okay, so that VBA code, what it will do, it will select what all the empty rows are there. Okay, it will delete that particular empty rows. Then it has to frame like a table, and then it has to do the various other operation. It might be a pivoting or a subtotals or any this one on that. Yep. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is how we do this particular kind of selections.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't understand the second query.
The second query, this one.
Yeah,
See,
that one.
this is doing the same job of the first one. We are again, we are trying to go for the range of A1, and from that range, so we are using this particular Excel down, range of Excel down dot select. Yeah, both are doing the same job. One second.
The second one, it doesn't add one, it doesn't go down, right?
That is because of the offset.
Offset, yeah. In the first
Because
one, it goes, second one, it
no,
doesn't.
yeah. So, but otherwise, I have just added an additional offset. Because of the offset, it is going down. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's not going down.
it doesn't
So
go
in
down,
this
yeah.
case, so what is happening
It
is,
only selects the range, A1 range.
and you can see the difference here is, see, in the first case, what is happening? It is just focusing on the last cell. Using the offset, we are just moving one row down. It is fine.
Okay.
But in the case of second one, what is happening? It is selecting that range.
Yeah.
That range it is selecting.
Yes.
Okay, and then that particular range of data, I can do the further activities. So might be
Yeah.
I want to find if it is a numeric data, I want to use numeric calculations on that things, we can do those things. The thing is, this is like, it is going till the down. It is something like, see, I keep the cursor here and I say control down arrow. When I say control down, my cursor is just moving down and selecting. But if I say control shift and down, what is happening? This also is moving with the selection. It's like
Yes.
moving using a control down and moving like use the help of the control shift down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, so this is the difference. So so where I want a selected range, so you'll be using this option. I want to just go to the last position and then do some kind of a task over there. I'll be using this particular, the first one. Okay, fine. This is like about selecting a particular cell or a range, okay, or a current regions. Okay, so you want to go with the continuous selections also was possible. So next is,
Alexa, 2 minutes. I'll just grab some water.
okay, fine. So going home. Okay. We have a select a rectangular range of cells around a cell. So again, we say range
She
of
said
A1 dot
he
current
asked for 2
region.
minutes.
We have seen. Yeah. 2 minutes you got water. Okay.
Yeah.
Select. Same thing. This is the same thing. Okay, we are just selecting the entire range rectangular. So now when you see select a cell relative to another cell, okay. So now when I use a offset is, okay, you want to select a cell, from there you want to move a particular position ahead. Okay, so we are using this. So I say I want to go for A1. I say in A1 we have some kind of first 3 rows, we have some headings. So now I want the data operations, okay, to start from the 3rd row or a 5th row, or I want to move little column ahead and then I want to start. So I can also do like this: active cell dot offset, move to a particular rows and columns, and then select. So this is like an offset. So there's also a thing we have done.
Okay, so we'll start.
Yeah. So we are doing this particular thing. So using the offset. So how do we move to the selection? So what does active cell will do? Active cell is wherever your cursor is, it will pick that position. Okay, it will just pick that particular position wherever you are. So if I select active cell, okay, so active cell is your currently active cell. I say dot offset. Now what I want is, so if I have to select, see, just imagine this particular data is not starting from the very start. So sometimes, in the data we have some headings. So in this right also I have something. So now what I will do is, first I'll try to get my cursor into A1. So what I will do, I'll just say select uh, sorry, range of A1 dot select. Okay, so it is going to select this particular A1. Now from there I want to select this particular range of data. Okay, if I have to select this range of data, see, from there, so I need to move one, what you say, column ahead, 2 rows down, and select this range of data. So what I'll do, I'll just say offset. So when I'm using this offset, first is your row offset. So how many rows down you want to move? I want to move 0, 1, 2. So that means current cell is 0, 1, 2. So I'll just say 2 rows down. And how many columns ahead you want to move? I say I want to move 1 column ahead. Okay, dot. Okay, I just say current region dot select. So now you can see what happens irrespective wherever your cursor is. So my cursor will go here and select. Got it? See, my data is like this, and I want to select this particular data. So first what I'm doing is, if I'm not giving this, if my cursor is here, so from here, okay, what it will do is it will go 2 rows down, 1 column ahead. So that is going to be my active cell. And from there, the range of data. So as of now, there is no data, only this will be selected. So now in this current scenario, you can see it is going to be something like this. But I say, no, I want to select this data. And this data is not starting from A1 or anything. So I know that, okay, we have first 3 rows or some, okay, first n number of rows has some information. I want to go n rows down, n columns ahead, and then I want to select. Okay, see, if I already know it is going to be 2 rows down, 1 column ahead. So in that case, okay, I can just say, what is that? Range of 2 rows down and 1 column ahead is going to be B3. No, I can just say like B3 dot select. So what this will do, and okay, B3 dot current region dot select. Dot select. Okay, so what this will do is, so we are telling that we are hard coding it, telling that, okay, go to this particular cell B3, from there select the current range of data, like equivalent to hitting Control A, keeping your cursor on B3. This is equivalent to that. So if irrespective of wherever your cursor is, when I try to run this, so it goes my cursor to B3 and there it selects a range. Now imagine this particular is, okay, they say, so it has some n rows down, n columns ahead, and from there I want to select the data. So they mention that numbers, how many rows and columns ahead. In that case, so we can use this particular thing. You can use the offset, and before using the offset, Okay. See, if I'm not using this, you need to ensure that whenever you run this particular thing, your focus is here and then you're running. So then it does a selection. So you keep the focus here and then run. Sorry, if you keep the focus here and then run, it does a selection. But if my focus is not in that place, it is slightly changed. So now what happens? It selects a different place. Okay. So for that, so programmatically, you want to say, okay, irrespective wherever you are, the program will forcefully take the cursor to A1, and from there, it is going to select this. Got it?
Sadiq sir, is it
Yeah.
possible to be like range open bracket cities then dot current region dot select
Range cities.
city?
Okay, fine. That means if this particular table name is given with a name, so you don't have to do all these things. If this, see,
Okay.
like example, so I just say, I'll just give the name as data. Okay, cities is already there, so cities is only for this. Okay, now I want to select the data. In that case, you don't have to do anything, so you can just use this particular thing called as range of um, it does like this. Okay, so this is if
Okay.
the names is been defined. Okay, but not always the names will be defined in your scenario. So what happens, you have pulled the data from the various places, and that data will have a huge data. Okay, so and there will be no name defined in that. So in that case, but you need to select that. So in that case, you have to use it, or manually you can select the data, you give the name. So that is how the industry is working. So some people, they follow the names, some people they follow this, everybody they are following their own standards and all these things. But the developers has to work irrespective of whatever the standards they have following. So we just need to ensure that, whatever the questions they ask, we need to give the solutions for that. Yeah, Fiza, that is
Yep,
fine.
sir. Got it. Huh.
Got it. Okay, good. Okay, this is used for selecting the data in this one. Or okay, we do also have. Okay, see this particular things you can move behind or ahead or any position. See, we can move. So we are telling, okay, go to D3. From there, go 5 rows down, one column behind, and then select it. Make a range. Okay, select is going to select a single cell. Current region will select that particular group, that we don't have a empty columns and rows, that becomes as a one range, and then it selects. Fine. Select a specified range, offset it, and then resize it. So now here in this case, what is happening is it says select a specified range. Okay, first we are telling it to select this range. So go to range of A1. From there, offset. Offset is move ahead. So here we are telling go 3 rows down, 2 columns ahead, and then resize. Select 3 by 3. So what this will do, I'll just comment off all these things. Now, if I run this particular code, see what is happening here in this one is range of A1. First, it will go to A1. From there, offset 3 rows. That is 3 rows and 2 columns. That means it will move 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 rows, 2 columns. So 1, 2 columns. Okay, this is column 1, this is column 2. So from there, we are selecting. So what you say, 3 by 3. So that means from there, you select 3 columns, 3 rows, 3 rows and 3 columns. 3 by 3 range, we are selecting it to select. Okay, so that means we say, okay, from here, it has to move this many number of rows ahead or behind, minus or plus. Okay, this many columns, minus or plus. From there, we are defining the size of data you want to pick. So in that case, we can define this particular custom size, how many rows and how many columns of data you want to pick, and then you want to work on that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Coates.
Yeah.
Okay. So this will be used mainly for all this analytics and thing. Okay, so dynamically we need to select a particular, like see example in the case of offset also we're doing last 3 months ka average sales value, or like last 6 months ka what is the average, and all these things you want to check and all these things. Yeah, so there we define what is that particular predefined ranges and things. Okay, this was something to do with the selections. So it is good, all fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here we will see with, so yeah, so we'll see with the workbook and the worksheet object. See, in Excel, range is one object, workbook is one object, worksheets also is an object. You're going to work with Excel objects. Now, when I talk about a worksheets is nothing but your sheets, individual pages. What you see in Excel is a sheet. I want to get some properties and methods of this particular sheets. Like you want to add a new sheet, or you want to rename that particular sheet, or I want to know in your workbook how many sheets are there. So we'll just look into this particular thing. So the first thing is, see, worksheets is an object of the class called as a worksheet. Worksheets is an object of the class called as a worksheet. Okay, so there is a class called as a worksheet, and the worksheets is an object of that particular class. So now when I say using the object of the class, what we do, we try to access the members of this particular class. So so to show that particular class, in the previous session we had been for this object explorer, if you remember. So we went to this particular object explorer, object browser, so where we said this worksheet. Yeah, so when you look into this particular thing, we have a class called as a worksheet. Okay, so now a class is what? Is a collection of properties and methods. We are not going to define the class, it's a built-in class. Okay, this contains this set of properties and methods. Now if you want to access this properties and methods, we need to have an object of that. So now what I am using in the code, worksheets, which is an object of this particular worksheet class. Okay, and with the help of this worksheet, I'll be able to access all this particular objects of that, sorry, properties and methods of this particular thing. So that is what we are trying to do here. So now in our Excel, so we have some set of worksheets. How many sheets are there as of now? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets are there. So I want my program to tell how many sheets do I have. So in that case, so what is that we do? So we get into the code. Okay, I'll just write a code. Let me write a new procedure here. I'll just say sub sheet demo. Okay, a macro or whatever. So now I'll just use this particular thing called as worksheets dot count. See, the count is a property. Property means is like a variable, whether you can assign the value or you can retrieve. So here I want to know how many sheets are there. So that means this, when I call this count, this will tell me like, okay, we have 5 sheets or 6 sheets. So that I can capture into a variable, or I can directly pass it into a message box. Okay, so in the message box it will tell me the count. So if I try to run this particular code, so you can see what happens. Okay, it tells me, oh, you have 6 sheets. Fine.
Okay.
Okay, so this is like, I just want to know how many sheets you have, okay, in this particular workbook. So sometimes, you want to read the data from first sheet, then second sheets and all. So I just want to know what is the capacity, how many sheets you have in that, how many sheets of data is there. Okay, so I think fine. So now imagine like I want to add a worksheet. I want to add a new worksheet. So what we do, I just say worksheets dot add. Let us run this. Yeah. it has executed, but what it has done, it has added a new sheet called as sheet 6. You can see this.
Mm,
Before it wasn't
yes.
there. Okay, let me rerun this again. So if I make it as a small screen, so if I try to add this again, you can see what happens. It has added another sheet. So if I try to run this, it is adding. So that means this particular add is the method here. Add is a method. Okay. See, count was a property. It was returning some value, so which we captured in some container. Now message box itself is a container which is reading that and it is displaying to the user. Or I'll have a variable or something. Now add is a method. So method is going to perform some job. What is the job it is doing? It is adding a new worksheet. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions here?
Can we give a set of worksheets and numbers? These many set of worksheets we need. Add and open the bracket, and we need these many.
Yeah. So in one click, you want to open, say, you want to get the sales data of Jan, Feb, March, or I say, this is the sales of Bangalore, this is the sales in Mangalore, this is the sales in Mumbai, Delhi, something. You have that 6 different regions, all the 6 region sheets to be generated. Yes, you can do that particular thing. Okay. In one group, you can do that particular thing. For that, we need to work with loops, arrays, and things. Okay, because in the array we can store
Okay.
that particular all the city names, then loop I can say like how many sheets it has to, and then each sheet we can read that individual name, and then we can say sales of Bangalore, sales of Mumbai, sales of Delhi, and we can generate it. Okay, we'll do that, but for that I will see the loops and then we'll try to generate those particular things.
Can we give a name to the worksheet while adding it?
Yeah, this is a very good question. Actually, I was expecting this particular question. Before that, might be for the Francis, I want to ask a question. See, if I have to do this particular new sheet, so if I'm using Excel, I can hit on this. It is doing the same job. Okay.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
this plus sign, a single click is able to do this, then why should I create this? And then again, I need to take a long procedure of calling that. See, like, there'll be a situation in the programmatically, you are generating some kind of report and that report has to be added in a new sheet. So here programmatically, we are adding a new worksheet. Okay. So now, since when I'm adding this particular new worksheet programmatically, I expect this particular sheet to have a particular name. So might be say this is the sales data, this is the marketing data, this is the HR data or something. Yeah, we can give a name for this particular sheet. Yeah, we will look into that particular thing. Yeah. So then, okay, what is that we can do is we can use this particular thing. So you add a sheet and get the name property of that and define the name to that. So that means, so what I will do is I say worksheets.add. This is going to add a new worksheet. After it has added a new worksheet, so focus by default gets into that new worksheet, is it? So then I'll say that is my active worksheet. See, active cell is the cell where it has been selected. Active sheet is the focus, okay, where your cursor is there. So that sheet is going to be our active sheet. I'll just call this particular property called as name, and I'll just say the name. I just say the name as Sadiq. Okay, so now let me run this particular code. So if I try to run this code, we can see what has happened here.
New sheet by name Sadiq is open.
New
Created.
sheet by name Sadiq has been created. So that means you're adding a new worksheet and you're renaming that particular sheet to whatever the name you want to have. You want to get this particular sheet based on the date, or you want to get it based on the month or something. So we can use that particular thing. No? So we can use this particular now. It's fine. I just wanted to say this is Sadiq for April, or I say this is a sales data for the month of current month. So now, this now function in Excel, no? Now
Yeah.
will give me the date and time. So now I want to generate this particular sheet dynamically, whichever the month it is. So with what department name? So department name I'm picking over here, and the month name I'm picking from the calendar. That is now is a function which gives me the complete date and time it has. Okay, from their date and time, I'm just trying to extract only the month. So you want to extract the combination of month, year, okay, even the day. Like if it is a daily report, you want even the day and all these things can be generated. So something like, YY say DT thing. So if I try to run this particular thing, so you can see YY is 20, DD is 02, 2002. Or actually it has to be something like other way around. No? So day and say year. So yeah, so it says it's a sales for, okay, you want to have an underscore or something like this. So I say it's a sales for April 02 2020 kind of thing. So with the help of the plus sign, so we can add a default to this one, and then you need to manually go and then change the name and all those things. So here dynamically, this method is just adding a sheet, and after you have added a sheet, okay, we are giving our own custom name that you wanted. So you
How do you
can
rename a sheet?
uh,
Existing
yeah,
sheet?
for the existing sheet, yes. See, what happens is you cannot have two sheets with the same name. See, like, active sheet, see, don't add this one. Don't add this. So what I will do is, okay, I've just commented this. Now, instead of telling as sales, so I'll just say it as marketing, uh, MKTG or something. Fine. Active sheet.name, this is going to, okay, rename that particular sheet. So what I've done is when I added, it was adding a new sheet and then it was giving the name. So when I just said without adding it, so I'm defining a name. So seek a name, it will just try to get the new name. So that means this sales set has changed to marketing. So that will do.
No, in the sense if there is sheet 1, I want to change that to some other name. Would possible?
Yes. Yeah, simple. So what we can do is, okay, sheet 1 is there. I want to rename that particular sheet. So what I will do is first is, see right now you're not in sheet 1. So I want my program to get the focus into sheet 1, and then,
right,
okay, make that sheet as an active cell, active sheet, and then rename it. So to make that as an active sheet, I'll just say as sheets of the name of the sheet. What is that? Sheet 1. Okay, dot select. So this is going to make that sheet 1 as an active sheet.
Right.
Okay, this is going to make that sheet as an active sheet, and then I want to rename that. So now once that is an active sheet, so you can just say, since that is an active, I can directly give this, say active sheet dot name is equal to, what is the name? So I'll just say something, say Francis. So now if I try to run this particular code, you can see what happens. First, it focus to sheet 1, and then it goes and renames that sheet 1 to Francis.
Okay, cool.
So you can do that. What Fiza asked the questions, so that will answer that once you learn the loops. Then will be the assignment for you.
Okay.
Okay, say monthly sales. I want to have one particular workbook to be created with 12 months data. So Jan, Feb, March, and the data has to be pushed onto the respective sheets. Okay. So this was something about adding a particular worksheet. So that means we are trying to access this particular worksheets. So as I said, worksheets is object of worksheet class. Worksheet is a class. Worksheets is an built-in object, and with the help of that object, we are accessing the various properties. We have a name property. We have, apart from that, there are many other properties also. Okay. Sure. This was the workbook. Now, this is again very interesting. Again, yeah, we have I want to move the sheet. Okay. See, sometimes, we add this particular, what you say, the sheet name, but before I could present it, before I give this particular report, I want to arrange this. Okay. I say first I want the sales data, then HR data, then marketing data, or like I want to have January sales, then February sales, then March sales. So like I want to put in a sequence, okay, arranging and so how do we do that? Okay. So here we'll just see this. Okay. See what I'm doing here is in this particular code, dim sheet count as long. This is what is this line of code doing? I have unmuted you people. बात कर सकते हैं.
Okay.
This line of code is doing what? This is just a variable, is it? Here sheet count is a variable of data type long. Is it? So that means so sheet count can store any numeric values, a small integer to a long integer values it can store. It is just a variable. Then
Right.
I say this sheet count is equal to sheets.count. We studied this also. Sheets.count, what it will do?
It will
This will
count the
tell
number of
me
sheets.
how many sheets are there. Fine. And then
Right.
what I'm doing is I say sheets one dot, okay, whatever the sheet you have added, or say right now I have a sheet one, okay, that sheet I want to move. Where you want to move? Okay, after. So sheets of one means this is going to be the first sheet, what is there in my workbook. Right now, there I have Francis is my first sheet. I want to move this to the very end. Okay, from the leftmost to the, I want to put it in the rightmost. So what I do is I have this value here. Sorry, see, move is a method. In the method, we assign it can take even the parameters. So now the parameters, what it is taking is like we have the parameters like before and after. After is after a particular sheet. So I say sheets of sheet count. So sheets of sheet count will tell me like how many sheets are there. So this first sheet will be moved after the last sheet count.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I'll just create a new method here. I'll just say sub. So this is my name of the macro. I want to move the first sheet to the last. So what I can do is I'll just say sheets. Okay. Now see, we can call this particular sheet in two ways. Either you can call it with the index or with the name. So like see, I don't know where Francis is. So see, right now I know that Francis is in the first place. So I'll use one. If I don't know, the Francis sheet is there, but I don't know in which position it is. It might be in the third place, or can be second place, or it might be in the fourth place, or any this one. In that case, I can call with the name also. If I'm calling with the name, use the double quotes. Fine. So I'll just say one dot move. Okay. So where you want to move, I can use this particular thing called as after. Okay. After is the named parameter. It's one of the parameter for the move method. So which says where you want to move. Now I'll just say sheets. So I just want to get the number of count. I'll just say worksheets.count or sheets.count. See, sheets.count will tell me the actual number of sheets.
Right.
Okay. And we are telling this to be moved after that number of sheets. So this
Right.
also should do. Let me run this code. Class field.
No, sheets one is not there. No, it's renamed to Francis. No.
Yeah, it's named to Francis.
So I think it should be sheets braces
Yeah,
sheets.count.
Sheets of this. Yeah, sheets dot sheets.com. Yeah. So you can see in our code here, Francis, which was actually in the first place, it has gone to the end. It has gone to the rightmost. See, it is like after is one of the parameters. See, that move is a method. It takes many parameters. So one is before parameter and after. After is you want to add a sheet after a particular sheet. Before is particular before a particular sheet. Now say after which particular sheet you want to move. See here we just need some number. So I want this Francis to be in the second place. What I will do is I'll just say after 2. Okay. Now when I run this, sheet
It's after
of,
sheets of 2, no?
yeah. So we can refer to that particular thing. So, or I say after sales. Sale or sales is there, no? We have some sheet which is named as sale or after Sadiq. I want Francis to be there next to Sadiq. So after, yeah, so you can see what has happened over here. So Sadiq was there and Francis, irrespective wherever it was, so it picked this and it has been placed next to Sadiq.
Okay, the same way
Okay.
if we have many sheets.
Same way, like if I say this as 2, okay, so in that case it has to move to the second place. So you can see after second sheet. Okay, so you can see here, this is my first sheet, this is my second sheet, this is my sector. So that means it is moving after the second sheet. So we can either call with the index or we can call with the name. So I just say I want this to be moved after a particular, if I say Sadiq here, so what happens, it will be moved after Sadiq. Or you have something called as before here. Okay, if I use a before, what happens, this particular sheet I'm expecting to be before this particular sheet. So now in this case, you can see it is before Sadiq. Yeah, Fiza.
Right.
If we have 3-4 sheets like Fiza, Cottage, and Francis, can we just
Yeah.
put a comma and write down the names of the sheets?
No, at a time it is going to be on a single sheet. See, let us what, like, so you want to do all the 3 sheets has to be created and it has to be rearranging. So in that case, we can do with the help of the loops.
Okay.
Okay, at a time you're moving one sheet. So if I want to move one sheet, then again I want to move the second sheet. So that means the same code you're trying to move again. Okay, or you can just say like say I'm trying to shift Francis here, and I say example I have a sheet called as sports here, and I want the codes say Francis is shifted before, and I say I want the codes to be after Sadiq. So in this case, what happens? So Francis is before and course is left hand or right hand. Hasuna?
Okay, got it.
Sorry, it was muted.
So serious, don't even want
No,
to
no,
laugh.
I was laughing, but you didn't hear it because it was on mute.
Okay. Okay. This was something like, how do we move? So like say the code, what is written in that, the slide, what I showed is, so I want to move to a particular position. So there, so we found out like how many sheets are there and I want to move to the last sheet. So what we did is I just say dim sheet count as integer or long or whatever it is, some data type. And then I say sheet count is equal to sheets dot count. This was telling how many sheets are there, and then I said like I want to move to Francis to that particular sheet. So what I'm doing here is, so this is I'm trying to say this. So I'm going to say the code what is there in the slide I'm trying to explain you. Okay, now what happens is I've declared this variable and then I'm dynamically trying to find. See what happens is, see every time you open this particular workbook, okay, you might have a different number of worksheets. We don't know how many sheets are there. So dynamically I say I want this particular sheet to be moved to the very last. Okay, and we saw when we are using this worksheets.add, wherever your cursor was there, the new sheet was added just before that. But I say no, I want that to be added in the very last. Okay, so in that case we are trying to use. So here dynamically we are trying to find out how many sheets are there, and we are trying to say that add this after that. So that means here Francis will be moved to the very last. So to say last, So if I have to manually, in the previous case, I need to manually count and then specify the number. This is giving me the count of the sheet and then moving to the last. So here we use this particular concept of variables to make things more dynamic. Correct.
Right.
Or when you're adding a new worksheet. See, before what was happening is, my cursor is here, and let me do one thing. Let me just add a new worksheet blindly. Okay. If I just say, what is that? We say worksheets dot add. I'm just adding. So now you can see new sheet is added where my focus was on this, and this a new sheet is added over here. Oh, I don't want this new sheet to be added here. So the new sheet always has to be added on the lastmost. So in that case, what I can do is put this code over here, have all those things. Or okay, I need to add, what I will do is I'll add a new worksheet. After adding, I'm trying to get the count. See, if I put this down, what happens, the count has got before adding a worksheet. Okay, now I'll say let it programmatically add a worksheet. Okay, so that means a new worksheet will be added before this. Okay, now get me all the complete count and then move that particular shift to this particular location. That is what we are trying to say. And okay, what is say active sheet dot move. What was okay? See, now what has happened? It has added a new sheet, and then I want to get the name of that particular sheet. Okay, I just say name is equal to, I just say s name, sheet name is equal to, I say active sheet dot name. So what is doing is it is adding a worksheet and trying to get the name of that particular sheet, and that whatever the name is there, so I want that to be shifted there. Yeah, the new sheet, when you add, you can see it is moving to the very end.
Right.
Yep. Okay, so this is a kind of things what we will be doing using the VBA. Clear?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was like, how do we move the sheet? How do we name the sheet?
Yes.
Now you want to protect a sheet. You want to do some protection. You know what is protecting a sheet?
Yeah.
How do you protect a sheet in Excel? We generally right click on that particular sheet in the bottom, and then we say
Yeah.
protect.
Yeah.
Or even
We
through
go
the
to the
toolbars, you know,
Excel.
go to this particular protection, and we can go to the protect or unprotect the sheet.
Mm.
So I think you people know when you're protecting, it'll prompt for the password. You can
Yep.
also protect a worksheet without a password. Have you noticed it?
Yeah, we just need at the down bottom we can do that.
Yeah, that is when you go to the protect, by default it'll ask for the password.
I don't know.
It'll ask for the password, and you can skip the password. I think I have covered this protecting of sheet.
Yep, we did that.
Yeah, we did. And I showed, like, you know, you can protect, that is when we created the templates and all this thing. And I said you can protect the sheet without a password. Okay, let me do it again. So let me get into my Excel. Fine. So what we do, I want to protect this. So what I do, I just right click, I say protect sheet. So when I say protect, it is prompting for the password. I want to protect without the password.
இது சாப்பிடுறா ஹைட் அண்ட் சீக் சாப்பிடு வேண்டாவா அது
And this, they're not printed yet.
Somebody's lost.
And then what I didn't think this cat.
Okay, fine. Hello,
I
sorry.
wasn't going to share only. You really want to give it to your son.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what happens is, okay, so what happens is, we just go to this, when you protect the sheet, it'll ask for the password, no? A password to unprotect the sheet and things. Okay, so we can just give the password. Generally we give the password, but you can see I can even say okay without typing the password. It is protected. So now you can see it is, sheet is protected. I'm not able to do anything. Okay, and if you want to unprotect, So we can right click, we can unprotect, it will not again prompt for the password. ये secret जानना है.
Yeah.
Now we'll see how do we protect a worksheet programmatically. Okay, why do we need this particular protection? Sometimes, like, you know, you have some data, so you are going to work on the data, and after your work is over, so you move to another sheet, but I don't want that particular sheet to be edited. So in that case, what I do, okay, after reading the data or manipulating is over, I want to protect, and then I want to pass on the data. Or I have some kind of master table where I have some percentages of sales tax percentage or profit percentages and all. I have designed it over there. So I don't want people to edit that particular thing. So what I do, I'll just protect that particular sheet. So for making it uneditable. So how do we do that particular programmatically? So if you want to do that, so whichever the sheet you want to protect, the worksheets and the name of the sheet, that name of the sheet that you want to protect, dot protect. This is going to protect that sheet. Okay. So example, I want to protect the sales data. Okay. So that is so if we have the sales data, I want to protect this. So what I will do, I'll just create a new macro here. Sub. So now I'll just say, what is the sheet you want to protect? I just say worksheet of the name of the sheet. So I say name of the sheet is my sales dot OTEC.
Protect.
Fine, that's it.
Yes.
So now, see, as of now, I can go for here, I can type, I can edit, I can play around. Fine. So now, after I do a protection, after I do run this particular protection, got disconnected.
What happened?
You cannot minimize using
Disconnected, huh?
No, no, only he's not able to share the screen.
Everything is on. Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, what is that? Is let me run this code. Okay. So now, after running the code, you can see. Fine, it's been protected.
Yeah.
So now, see here, see what is happening is when you run this, it just protects and it is protected. Now I just want to pass a message. Oh, now your worksheet has been protected. So that is where your message box and all will come into place. Otherwise, you know, we'll not know whether this code has been executed or not. Anything. So we can just say message box. Okay. So okay, your sheet has been protected. EEING protected. So now let me unprotect it. So I'm able to do the editing. So now I'll run this code. Says your sheet is been protected, and I say okay. So now, okay, fine.
Yes.
But it only said the first time. No, from the second time also, if you wanted to tell.
Second time. No, I didn't get you.
Can you please run it?
Your sheet has been protected. Yes. Same sheet is getting protected again. You want to unprotect?
No, no, no.
Only one action.
Can you please go to sheet 5?
Sheet 5, yes.
Okay, now, sorry, can you please unprotect sheet 1 or sales sheet?
Yeah, so for unprotecting, again, we have this particular method called as unprotect. Unprotect, or we have a password to be given to do this particular unprotection. Fine. Let me run this. Yeah, it is happening. So you go back to this. Just say unprotect. Protect was protecting. This is unprotecting.
Okay, now we are able to enter data, right?
Now I'm able to enter this. Even the sales data, I'm able to enter. See, generally what happens when you protect with a password, in that case, you need to even use the unprotect with the password.
Okay, now can you please protect it?
Um,
Okay, now you will, we'll go to sheet 5.
Now I'll go to sheet 5.
Yeah, now we'll run the code.
For protecting or unprotecting?
Protecting.
Now, still, like, we are protecting the sales. So it is going to
Correct.
protect the sales only.
I understand, got it.
Ah.
Now
So for unprotecting, I'll do one thing. I'll just have another this one. I'll just say sub unprotect. So here I'll just write the same thing. Okay. Now, fine. Now you want to unprotect the sales. So if you want to unprotect the sales, I'll run this macro. Your sheet is been unprotected. So that means
no, that is not my question.
Yeah.
My question is now, okay, we'll go to sheet 5.
We'll go to sheet 5.
Now we'll run the code of only protecting.
Okay. Yeah. Sheet 5 is sheet sales is protected.
Now the thing is, I am in sheet 5 and it is telling your sheet is protected, which is wrong.
Yeah, this message, yes. Yeah, that message we need to know the name of the sheet. Okay. I'm protecting that particular this one. So correct. I can also say something like active sheet dot protect. This will protect the currently active sheet.
Correct.
So you can use like this: active sheet dot protect. So in this case, okay. So now what has happened? The active sheet has been protected. But in the message, you want to print the name of the sheet. In the message, you want to print the name of the sheet. In that case,
we can assign it.
That will capture the name, and that name you'll be passing over here. Instead of your sheet, I can pass the name over here. So we can do that.
No, my question is, message box, every time I go to that sheet, it has to tell your sheet has been protected. It is only telling the first time. From the second time, it is giving its own message box.
Your sheet has been protected. The same message it is giving, no?
No, it is giving only for the first time.
Okay. No. See, I run this.
Okay,
the sheet has been protected.
Your sheet has been protected. Okay.
Again,
now you go to
sheet. Again, I'll run the same sheet.
No. Go to that sheet 5.
I'm in sheet 5. I was in sheet 5 only.
सही है सर, आप कुछ टाइप कीजिए ना उधर.
यहाँ पे okay.
It is giving its own message.
Yeah, this is when the sheet is being protected and you are trying to edit. That time this is from Excel, not from VBA. This message is from Excel.
You can't change that.
This we cannot change it.
Achha. And then again, when I click that sheet only, it should tell me that your sheet is protected.
As soon as I click on this, that is the functionality. When you edit only, it will tell you, and the sheet has been protected.
Correct, but if I'm in sheet 5 and if it tells your sheet has been protected, then I don't see.
It has to tell me like your current sheet has been protected. We can just capture that. Is like just say name is equal to active sheet dot name. Okay, and then say your sheet. Instead of sheet, I can just specify your sheet 5 has been protected. That is what it is going to tell me. Yeah. So if I run this, it says your sheet 5 has been protected. So this is what you're expecting.
No, what I'm expecting is I'm in sheet 5.
Yeah.
I'm protecting sales वाला sheet.
Right now we are protecting the active sheet.
हाँ ठीक है, हम अगर sales वाला sheet protect कर रहे हैं तो
Yeah. So in that case, so after that we need to select that particular sheet. Instead of telling active sheet, I say worksheets of sales dot select, get the name of that, and then, or we can
Okay.
have one global variable.
Got it.
So that variable we can refer in both the places.
got it.
Okay. See, the objective of using the variables can be made, things can be made more dynamic. The message can be made more explanatory, very specific, than, rather than be more general things. So that will be the use of that.
Right.
Okay. Okay. This is clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you want to protect with a password. You want to protect with a password. You can pass this parameters. Password is equal to the password. So that means, so you're protecting a sheet. Okay. So sheets of sales dot protect. Okay, let us protect that sheet only. And then I want, okay, which sheet? Either this or that. Now, if you want to provide this, so that is going to be the parameters. See, one thing here is in other languages, when you're calling any method, we use the parenthesis. Okay, like Python and all. But if you're passing the parameters, give a space and then pass the parameter. Okay, so protect is one of the parameter you're calling with the name. Okay, so it takes many parameters. So password.
Password, yeah.
Is one of the parameter of the protect. Okay, for the protect function, password is one of the parameter. Now we'll say what is the password that you want to give. So you can give a simple to a complex password, can be written in this. So let me give it as 1, 2, 3, 4 itself. Okay, so now if I run this, which one? So you want to protect this or that?
Anything.
Okay, so because your name, it is this. Okay, fine. Or I can just say,
no, I think we'll protect active sheet because it's been coded that way.
Yeah, no worries. So now if I try to run this, so now a sheet 5 is being protected. Good. So now you can see it is protected. Now you want to unprotect. See, when I go to the unprotection, so you can see it is prompting for the password. Oh. Active sheet is sheet 5.
नहीं unprotect के लिए
is being protected. Yes. But when you right click on this unprotect, it should prompt. Yeah. Okay. Fine. It is asking for the password. A person who knows the password only can unprotect it. Okay. The same thing like when you are unprotecting also. So we just can have this particular password pre-coded, or we can ask the user input to give the password, and then we can unprotect. Oh yeah, sheet has been unprotected. So now, see, generally when I have given a password and I am asking the user to call this unprotect, okay, and then it is just like, so the same password is being pre-coded over here, doesn't make any sense. Now what I want is, I want this password to be taken from the user. So what will we do? We can use a various procedure. So one such
Input
simple
box.
thing is, I'll use an input pass. I'll just say password is equal to input box. Okay, so I'll just say enter your password, enter the password. Okay, so if you want to have a title, so you can just say also we can give it. Okay, so now what happens, and then whatever is given over there, that has to be here. So now first I'll protect this, I'll run this. See, this what happens, you'll not be calling through this one, you'll be calling through this, but okay, you need to create some buttons or a shortcut keys and then we call. So that we have seen. Okay, now we are developers now, so we'll be running through the code. So So if I try to run this, a sheet is been protected. Now if I try to run this unprotected, so you can see a message comes here. Oh, enter the password. If I give something like this, I'll say no. Okay, a person who knows the password only can unprotect it. So if I just say 1, 2, 3, 4, so I say okay. So this gets unprotected like this.
But the earlier one also said your sheet is unprotected.
Where without the password it was not telling.
Please try it once again.
Okay, it was telling. Okay, that means like it was mismatching. I need to use a if condition. Say if the password is matching, go ahead. Otherwise, okay, I need to capture that error. Enter the password. If I just use.
Yeah, but does it unprotect?
No, it is not
Yeah.
unprotected. So here we need to capture what is the actual password and thing, and then put a if condition. If it is not, okay, throw back an error.
Right.
Okay. Clear?
Yep.
Okay. That was how do we protect a sheet? How do we unprotect a sheet?
Sadiq sir,
Yep.
in this protect sheet, like how we used to do in Excel, we used to protect only the rows and columns. So in this we cannot do that, is it?
Okay. What is the protecting of rows and columns? If we want to do, what we used to do is we used to go to the format cell. In the format cell, we had something called as lock.
Yep.
We used to lock the cells and we used to unlock
Love
the
this.
cells. And then in the protection, we used to say lock only the protect only the locked cells or unlocked cells. I'll come back to
Yep.
Excel. So
Mhm.
to answer your this one, I don't want this formula to be edited. I want this to be. So in that case, what I do, I'll just go to the, let me unprotect first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. One, two, three. Okay, fine. Now say example here. So I don't want this particular data to be edited, or cities should not be edited. I select the data and then I go to the format cell. Okay, in the format cell, I go to the protection and I say this to be locked. Okay, by default, whole cells are locked. Okay, so what I will do is first thing is I'll unlock this. That is what we used to do, no? So I
Yep.
say
Use
unlock the
unlock
whole sheet. Okay, and then I
and
say
then
I don't want this particular data to be touched. Okay, I select this and then I just say go to the same option, protection. I say lock.
lock.
I have locked only this cells, rest all is unlocked. And then
Hmm.
we used to go to the protect the sheet, and there, so you look into this, we used to say this, what you want to protect. You want to protect only the unlocked cells. You should change it over here. So what is that
Yep.
you want to do? So here I want to protect only the unlocked cells. So that we can define it over here. Okay.
Locked cells, no? Protect only the
No, you
locked
are
cells.
protecting only the unlocked cells.
You're protecting
Allow
the locked.
allow the users of this worksheet to select the locked cells. So that means we are allowing the user to select. So allowing the user to select only the unlocked cells. So we
Okay.
are not allowing the user to select the locked cells. So
Okay.
unlocked cells we are allowing. So like that we
Okay.
have other features also. You want to restrict only the formatting of a cell. You want to restrict only inserting a column, rows, and all these things. You can specify this particular options. So you want to do that. So that is where you can see here. I've just given here. Allow formatting cells is equal to true. So generally, when you do the protecting of a sheet, so with the sheet protection, you're what you say the changing the font, color, size, everything gets disabled. So when I say allow formatting is equal to true, those formatting feature will be enabled. So the same way we can set those parameters here. So that means, can I go with this comma? It has many parameters. So
is equals to true.
So it should be the same, this one, allow formatting cells.
उधर colon नहीं चाहिए क्या?
Colon is equals to true.
Colon equals चाहिए, but without the colon also.
Password के लिए तो work हुआ.
So now when I protect, so we are protecting which sheet now? Active sheet. So let me protect this. So only this portion is not selected. So this you cannot, this you can. Okay. See, one thing is like you want to know how do we do those features and all this thing. So what I suggest is just record a macro and do the protection. So you'll know what all the parameters are there. So what I'll do is I'll just record this macro. I'll just record a macro. I'll just go to the view. I say macro, record a macro. Okay. So macro for okay sheet. Will be now. Okay, and then I'll just say okay. Now you want
I
to
think
do,
I asked this question earlier also. Can't you give the shortcut in the code itself?
I'll come to your answer. I think I'll just do a protection. When I'm protecting, I'll just say what are the features you want to go. I just say I want to allow only the unlocked cells. I want to allow the user to do some kind of formatting, say format cell. You want to allow the user to insert a row, insert a column thing. So we can just say insert row, insert column, some features you want to allow. I just select those features. And if you want to give a password, you can just say 123 something. So reconfirm 123. I say okay. Okay. So now I'll just stop this recording. So now what is the name of that macro? I'll just go to the macro and you can see the code how it is being written. Protecting sheet edit. Now when you look into this, the active sheet.protect is for protecting the current sheet. Now what all the things like say drawing objects is equal to true, contents is equal to true. So we are telling this allow formatting cells is equal to true, allow the user to do the formatting, allow the user to insert a column, insert a row, as well as okay allow the user to select the unlocked cells. You can use this particular codes and you can apply. And the password is not given here, so you can give the password. What is the password that you want to have? So these features we can embed it, like you want to allow the user to allow formatting cells is equal to true is there. So we can just take from here and then implement in that one.
A macro is given to a workbook or to the sheet only?
See, right now this is given in general for the whole workbook.
For the whole
so that
workbook.
Means, yeah, it can be used across. So we also can write this particular codes for a particular worksheets and workbooks also. So this is a general one. See, now for your question to answer, we will be doing that. See, you have something called as a modules. So when I write the code in the module, this can be used across the whole project. Even if you add a new worksheet, I can call it over there. But apart from that, if you select any particular sheet, I can write a code for this. So this code window is not a module. It is for the individual worksheet. And I can write a code for a sheet. So where we will be using something called as the events. So we have some events. So that will be coming for it. So as of now, we are not touching on the worksheet and the workbook. We are working on the modules. So this will be called across your whole workbook. Okay. Even in the newly added sheets also.
So basically a guy gives me one workbook,
okay,
a sheet,
yeah,
and he puts a password protection on a particular sheet.
okay.
So I can go to the macro and remove it off, is it?
See, even you can protect the macros also. Once generally people who have created this macros, they don't allow the users to access the code. If they have given the permission for you to access the code, and if you can understand and you can edit that, you have the option of editing. But generally, what happens is any person who has written the code, they don't want end users to manipulate that code. For that purpose, they protect this. So right click on this particular workbook. We have something called as a properties, project properties. We give some kind of protection. See, there is
Okay.
a protection and we give the password. Generally, the developers will give the password and then share with the end users.
Okay.
You talk about any project, even a Python developer or any developer, so they will not be happy to share the code.
Right.
Okay. So if they have given that, you'll not be able to get into the code view at all. So tomorrow you are the future software developers. When you start creating the projects, you'll be protecting and then giving. So anything, so they need to come back to you. You have the control, you have the key in you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. समझ गए ये? Okay. How do we do this kind of a partial protection? Thank you.
Yes.
Yep, sir.
Okay. I think I will stop here.
Yep.
Yep, I will.
So just to recap what we have done. So we have seen how we select a cell, entire sheet, a particular range, a non-contiguous cells, and then we have also seen
Worksheet.
how do we select ranges, move one row down or a particular current regions, and then we have seen how do we add a worksheet. How do we get some properties of the worksheet, like how do we count how many sheets are there, how do we add a sheet in a particular position, how do we rename a sheet, and how do we access the password protection and unprotection for a sheet. Okay, that is what we have done in this particular chapter. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So we'll stop here.
Yeah, we'll stop here. We'll have lunch and we'll get back.
Okay.
What time?
1 hour, na?
You can wait by 5.
5.
Okay. Take.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye, ma.